Futures and options on futures trading involve substantial risk and is not a suitable investment for all types of investors. Past results are not necessarily indicative of future results. When I use the word I in this video, it refers to what I teach in my charting course or what I author in my twice daily oral and written updates. Prices shown on charts and quote boards are in real time and take into account all known activity up to this point in time. And if you'd like to read more of this disclaimer, simply hit the pause key on your video player. Good day, all. Ira Epstein of Linn Associates with your financial market wrap-up for this Wednesday, the 16th of January, 2019, getting on to 3:35 p.m. Central Standard Time. You're down in the NASDAQ from its high. Look at how much this market fell. These lows were just made moments ago. We're at right now the time frame where you're going to be close to where the settlement prices are in the market because they settle at 315 and we're in the reopening. What took place in the NASDAQ was the Department of Justice has decided to pick up on a case that T-Mobile had filed against Huawei for intellectual property theft back in 2014. Why the government picked up on it now, can't tell you. They say that indictments are going to come against Huawei. And what this really probably means is the Trump administration is going to put more pressure on China by going after one of their largest companies on this intellectual property. Remember, we heard just days ago Mr. Lighthizer say he was not satisfied with the progress made on that. Well, here comes more pressure, and guess what? Canada, Europe, Japan, they're all applauding in the background because somebody's got to take this to the next level. In the meantime, silver didn't do much today. The dollar came up after that news as a number of currencies slipped back. Miss May, I'm talking Prime Minister May of the UK, survived. So the vote came in, she survived the no confidence vote for her government, and now they have to come up with a plan by Monday or get to an extension. My own instinct, I have no way of knowing, obviously, I don't think anybody does, you're going to see this Brexit date pushed back. Somehow the EU and them are all going to get together and figure a way to push this thing back. When you look at the S&P 500, you can see the nice bounce that we've had, and it's a heck of a bounce. I just read a report that's on CNBC. You might want to go there tonight. One of the brokers talking about, after the midterms, how the markets rally sharply going into the year after the midterm election. Some of these numbers are astounding how much it rallies. We'll see. You know, in other years, you didn't have trade wars, but resolve the trade war, the numbers they talk about can happen, I guess. But in any case, this is a heck of a bounce that we're getting. It is the Christmas rally. Please go back on your own charts and mark off on the chart what date this is. You tell me it's not Christmas. I realize we all look for the rally to happen in front of Christmas, but it gave it to us as a delayed Hanukkah Christmas gift, or anything you want to call. It's been a really nice rally. The market has had a consistent pattern recently since December of higher lows, higher highs. Until that pattern is broke, the trend remains to the upside. Now, one of the resistance points might become the 100-week moving average or 100-day moving average of closes, with support back, unfortunately, at the 18-day. I say unfortunate because if you're going to fall back to support, you're going to break this pattern, and that could take you out of this upside momentum. In terms of Bollinger Bands, the number for resistance is around the 2665. I'm not wearing my glasses, so some of these numbers blur for me. 2665. Support, as I said, closer to that 18-day average as you come down. And you have what's called an embedded reading. Now, let me explain the importance of an embedded reading. An embedded reading in slow stochastics takes place when a market gets overbought or oversold and then stays consistently overbought or oversold for days on. And that's what's been going on here. When that occurs until the red line loses its reading by closing back under 80, breaks in the market should be bought by the trade. That's my guess, okay? Lose that reading, and I think that the trade dumps on the market, trying to get it back to the 18-day average of closes. In the NASDAQ, even with the break today, and you can see you're down 5 points as I'm talking, you still have the higher lows, higher highs, and stochastics are not showing any inclination yet that they're going to turn that red line under the 80 level. Same in the Dow, same in the Russell. So the Bollinger Bands in each one of these markets That's a potential upside target on all of them to get back to support at the 18-day average of closes. You have to break through the previous swing line low, which could change the momentum. In the VIX, the market is just stuck at the 100-day moving average of closes in green. It's got a bearish embedded reading, which fits hand in hand with what's going on in stock indices. Obviously, the VIX is taking risk out. It's saying you don't need the insurance or the volatility, and people aren't buying that. However, when it gets over 20, I expect a big pop in the market. Another thing, break down enough and I wouldn't be surprised if the pros start writing puts in the market, but you'd have to get near that Bollinger Band. In the bond market, you have a pattern of a higher high and a lower low. In other words, you're not in a trend. The market is oversold at the same time. While the bias is down, it just seems to be trying to hang around that 18-day average of closes, as are the 10-year notes. And if you go to the 5-year notes, you'll see the same type of thing. Now, the market today broke down, got to the last break low of 121.19.5, did not break through it. But at the end of the day, the market looks like it's going to try to settle at or under the 18-day average of closes. In other words, this big upward momentum has been lost in the market, and of course that was when yields were dropping. The real yield on the 10-year now is around 2.725. 2 3/4 has been a key number in the market. We'll see if it does anything there. When I come to TLT, the very popular ETF, you're oversold. The market has been stretching itself to the downside. It just missed today the lower Bollinger Band, and it's got a higher close. At any point, this market can pop on you just because it's oversold. You'd have to get over 121.27 to negate the downtrend, and resistance comes in 121.09. If it continues down, the lower Bollinger Band becomes the first support, and way down here, which at 117.22 is down there, but you'd need some world event to create a real break in interest rates, I think, to get it anywhere near there. In the dollar index, you've stalled where I'd expect. One of the things that I teach in my charting course is that we look for what we call that line in the sand, and I consider the 18-day average of closes to be that number. It's from that number that trends fail, develop, whatever is going to happen. And if you'll notice, the market had broken away, rallied up yesterday, hit the 18 and again today. The market is trying to figure out what to do next. When you come to the eurocurrency, you're in a downtrend. Lower highs, lower lows, momentum is still down, resistance back at the 18-day average should the market rally, and if it breaks down hard, maybe it goes to the lower Bollinger Band. What's the risk in the trend? Well, it's because the market's settled under the 18-day average and momentum is down, the trend is down with the swing line. The risk is if you get short, you don't want to get back over that last high of 115.50. In the British pound, where do you go with this? I mean, now you've got another event that you've gone through. And as I said, it's day after day. But what this market is doing, I think, it is said that these numbers are going to be very hard to get back under. This seems to be your worst scenario numbers, and the market's gotten sharply away from it. You're running at the upper resistance of the Bollinger Band top. If you can pop through that, the 100-day average of closes is there. And as we've seen recently, the support's at the 18-day average. Is the market trending? No. Is the market as volatile as I thought it would be going into all these elections and the votes as to whether there's confidence? The volatility seems not to be there. In the Japanese yen, what have I been telling you I expected day in and day out? It's not a market trade, but what I was explaining is when you lose an embedded reading, often prices make a run for the 18-day average of closes. And admittedly, the bias is up because you're over that number. You still got the higher lows, higher highs. Then when the market starts breaking, and you'll see it does here, you get the lower highs, lower lows. And this was yesterday. I'm still looking for price in the 18-day average to get closer together. I'm now getting pretty satisfied. Agreed? Here's the beauty of that. If one were long, you're playing probabilities that that strength is out of the market. That's the key. I am not telling you in these videos, I do in my private subscription videos, what I think should be done here. I tell you the generality, and the generality in these videos is momentum is lost when that occurs, and you play the probability that even if you're bullish, the odds favor the market might get back to that line in the sand. When we look at Bitcoin, what I teach is you pay very good attention to what's going on right here. Think of this as a pipe. And in the pipe, price is the spring, and it's winding itself up, and it's trying to figure out, does it go down for another washout, or is the market basing out here and going to break out? The way it comes out of these black lines with follow-through is going to be very important. I realize the market is oversold. That favors the market trying to come up a little bit, but oversold can become embedded in time like it did back here, and then you break down for lower prices. Right now, I don't know who has the edge right here. In the Brent versus WTI crude, let's go back a day or so if I could here. This was Tuesday's price action. Look what happened today. So now you're getting that big difference where the differential between WTI, actually Brent and WTI, is widening out. You can see the Brent crude, today the market up 60 points, and you can see ours is only up 24. The trends are still up. You have higher lows, higher highs. You're over the 18-day average. What about embedding? Well, both numbers right here for today were over 80. Yesterday, they were both over 80, not the day before. You're overbought. Tomorrow's when the market decides, does it embed and lock in that trend or not? As we take a look at the rebar gas, you can see how the market's holding in. And by the way, today's EIA numbers, which compared to yesterday's API numbers, they were about as bearish on both, and the market was able to shake that off and hold on to gains. In the nat gas, the market pulling back, but this is the wild cowboy market. Remember, this is where you're playing weather right now. It's very different than what you play in the other markets. You're still in an uptrend, but with a big outside day down today, market pausing on momentum. It had trouble and is having trouble at the 100-day average of closes, which puts into support possibly on a further break, prices at 307.5. I teach this and many other things, and one of the things I love to teach are pivot points. I don't know if you know what a pivot point is, but the concept of a pivot point is you look at the previous day's range. There's a formula. I teach the formula. From the formula, you're looking for a center line and then resistance points above and below the market. They'll look just like you see here. It is not for position trading. It is ideally for intraday trading. So if you're one of those traders that like to be in and out of the market, I think I give you a pretty good explanation. It's 2 videos. How do you get access? Give us a call. Go to our website. We'll teach you all about it. The videos will be sent to you, and away you go. I'm Ira Epstein. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.